Waterside pubs are an amazing link with the past on the UK's 3,000 miles of canals. One of the very best is the Admiral Nelson at the locks near the entry to the Braunston tunnel. The very cozy interior is supplied with a pile of foodie books by an enormous fireplace. You can watch the stream of canal boats and colourful workboats with their gorgeous decorations as the locks are operated, 2 boats up and then 2 down. There is a ghost in the part of the pub that was once the canal workers' morgue. She walks through the wall into the bar, apparently. The Nelson has always been a meeting point for boaters with stories of canal trips around England, and has been for 300 years. The admiralnelson.co.uk Holbrook profile. Every week we ask our readers for recommendations from their travels. A selection of tips will be featured online and may appear in print, and the best entry each week, as chosen by Tom Hall of Lonely Planet, wins a £200 voucher from Hotels.com. To enter the latest competition, visit the Reader's Tips homepage. Thank you for your feedback. The Riverside, Sheffield. Music, craft beer, ales and a fantastic beer garden are all found in the Riverside just outside Kelham Island in Sheffield. The pub is a hub for all ages, and caters for beer and food lovers alike. The Riverside Beer Garden features work by famous graffiti artist Flem. Riverside's Sheffield.co.uk at 12802444B says Riverside Bar, Bristol. The yellow and black striped Conham ferry, 50p return, resembled an escapee from a hive, and our party was abuzz with anticipation as we boarded for the short crossing to B says. The tranquil gardens slope right down to the wooded River Avon, and most customers arrive by their own water transport. There are also weekly boat trips from the centre of Bristol. The menu is extensive, including great vegan choices, and the cream teas are popular. We enjoyed a delicious Sunday lunch as dragonflies shimmered above the sunlit water. Open Friday to Sunday from April to end of September. bsays.co.uk 123 The Cornmill, Llangollen. Photograph, Alamy at the Cornmill in Llangollen, North East Wales. There's an excellent bar area and even better food and dining area, with a terrace looking over the River Dee. Watching the water there any day is a great complement to good food and drink, but when the conditions are good for kayaking and whitewater rafting, most days, it is a real treat. Oh, and mountains, too. The menu includes good takes on British classics, as well as more imaginative offerings, all at a fair price. Main courses £10 to £15. Brunning and price.co.uk/Cornmill at 8272-404 The Anchor Inn and Boating, East Sussex. Photograph, Alamy. Driving along the narrow, one-way track towards this pub, you'd be forgiven for thinking that the sat-nav had taken you down a dead end. Stick with it, though, and you are rewarded with this picturesque country pub near Lewes, covered in beautiful hanging baskets during the summer months. There is a pleasant front garden, but the pub's real draw is at the back. The River Ouse winds alongside it with rolling countryside and fields into the distance. There's a deck where you can hire rowboats, adult £6 per hour, child £3. Cooked mains are about £12 on average. I should mention that the pub is licensed to hold civil wedding ceremonies. My husband and I were married there in 2014. Anchor Inn and Boating.co.uk Clare Brennan Saracen's Head Inn, Herefordshire. Photograph, Alamy. On the banks of the River Wye in Herefordshire, the Saracen's Head Inn operates one of the UK's few hand-pulled ferries. The Simmons Yacht Ferry is said to have been introduced in Roman times. Hiking a 17-mile stretch of the Wye Valley Walk from Monmouth to Ross-on-Wye, we discovered the pub, which lies directly on the trail. As we sipped refreshing local cider on the Riverside Terrace in the afternoon languor, the sound of raucous laughter punctuated the air as the ferryman guided passengers to the opposite bank. A river cruise boat, brightly adorned with flowers, navigated the still waters while canoeists worked their paddles rhythmically, eager to reach the churning rapids downstream. Saracen's Head.co.uk Rashley Inn, Cornwall. Photograph, Alamy. There is so much to say about this delectable place, from the minute you walk through the wind-battered door, to the moment you step out again, into reality. Whatever the weather, the Rashley Inn at Polcarus gives great pub. for winter visits. An open fire greets you, and then there's the galleon-like window overlooking the tiny harbor, shielding the boats and beach from the wild waves of St. Austell Bay. In the summer, you'll be treated to a sunset like no other, while enjoying a pint of ice-cold cider or local beer on the large terrace at the back. Rustic building, charming staff, delicious pub, grub, including local fish, burgers and sandwiches, and a resident cat. And most idyllic location, rashleighandpokeris.co.uk 032542 Turf Hotel, ex-estuary photograph, Alamy. Since moving away from the West Country, I miss summer visits to the Turf Hotel, a pub and hotel that you can only reach by foot, bike or boat. It's on the cycle trail to Tynemouth, so makes for a great pit stop. Grab a pint and enjoy the huge beer garden overlooking the ex-estuary, with plenty of bird life and boats to observe on a summer's afternoon. You can even get a rowing boat ferry, with bike, across to the other side of the estuary at Topsham, if you want to explore the great pubs there. Turfpub.net. 1/2 Socialist. The ferry, Merseyside. Hop on a Mersey ferry from Liverpool to Seacombe and stroll the promenade along the river towards New Brighton. After about 10 minutes you'll come to what was once the Egremont Ferry Hotel on the corner of Tobin Street. It's not a hotel, there's no ferry, but it is in Egremont and is now called simply the Ferry. This pleasant old pub has wonderful views over the Mersey and the Liverpool waterfront. Almost a gastropub, it is the old reliables with a touch of flair and is really good value. All the mains are well under £20. At one time it was comprised of the main bar with 2 lounges, precise social divisions of first, second and third class. On Facebook, Fergus Mulligan, the dog in Doublet, Birmingham, photograph, Alamy lying right beside the Birmingham and Fazeley Canal. This pub is an anachronism that would not have been out of place when the canals were in their heyday. It's in the Curdworth Flight at Bodymore Heath, and is the only sanctuary for tired narrow boaters leaving Birmingham and finding themselves on this stretch of canal. The foods is pretty standard and cheap, the beer too, and the service is unique to this part of the country. Indeed, when my friend accidentally ordered drinks to the wrong tab, the landlady corrected his mistake by shouting, "Oi, come here you little sh*t." No one would ever rate this pub the best in any individual aspect, but when you have a beer, or with friends, after a long day's boating, there is nowhere else you would rather be. On Facebook, Edward Williams.